Dear listeners, my name is Anthony Clark.
And I'm Melanie Clark.
And we are
The Amazing Clarks.
We're both award-winning certified life and love coaches and a husband and wife duo that have been coaching together as a team for 24 years and that have been passionately in love for 34. They call us the Amazing Clarks because we empower people to live amazing lives.
And we're here to help you get from where you are to where you want to be in life and love. Love the Amazing Clarks is our personal love letter to all of you that love love.
That's right. And you guys know we love love.
Yes, we do.
So today, guys, we got another amazing episode for you guys. We're going to continue our series from our ebook, How to Stop Being an Irritating Person, 20 Irritating Traits That Pushes People Away and How to Fix Them. So this is an ebook that we wrote. And each week for the last, 13 weeks, we've been covering one topic per podcast.
Yep.
And today's topic from the ebook is being cheap or stingy.
Ooh.
Being cheap or stingy. So these are irritating traits that maybe you or somebody you know might have.
Mm-hmm.
And if it happens to be you, the whole point of bringing these traits up is because those traits could be limiting you from having the success that you want in your dating life, in your relationship life, your work life, life in general.
Yeah.
And so when we're coaching, we usually go to like deeper concepts, but instead of going to the deep concepts, which are great, sometimes the best way to do it is just to go for the low-hanging fruit. The things that you could look at right now and change right now and have better outcomes.
Yeah.
So that's why we wrote this ebook. And we also wrote it because there are people in our life that we want to have better relationships with, but they have irritating traits, and it's hard to really tell people about that, the irritating traits. So if you write it in a book, maybe they'll attract it, they'll read it, they'll see themselves, and they'll make the change. And on top of that, we also wrote it because we are human. We have irritating traits too that we want to be aware of. So we want to be the best us that we can be.
Yes.
So we can't just be the coaches. We have to be the students. So we want to make sure we're not doing any irritating shit. That's right.
Good call, baby. Good call.
That's right. So before we jump into the main topic, it's time for catching up with the Clarks.
Yes.
So this is where we kind of let you guys know what's going on in our personal life and our relationship. Babe, why don't you share? What do you think you want to share with the listeners today?
Sure. You know, I was thinking about this morning, and one of the things that I want to share with the listeners that I've been focused on is I've really been focused on gratitude and money, like combining those two things together, right? So, you know, we're in a time in our world where the external world is telling us a lot, that there's lack and there's limitation and more is coming and we all need to be afraid. And we're really influenced by our external environment. So I've just been doing a lot of focus on being really grateful for what I have, the life that I've created, and then really just thinking a lot about like how easy it is to attract more, right? Like we're attracting everything, and what we attract comes from what we believe is possible. So I've just been doing a lot of reading, a lot of meditating, a lot of focusing on the possibilities and what's possible. And it's been really amazing because I have all these things that I want to do in my life that I'm not even going to say that I want to do, that I am doing. And every time I want to add something to my plate, I've just been saying, hey, universe, just bring me more money so I can do that thing. And really training myself to look at it from that perspective instead of like, what do I have to give up? Or what do I have to not do? Or what can I not have so that I can have the best life experience? So I've just really been focusing a lot on gratitude and money. And I love money. I love playing with attracting money. I love spending money. I love giving money. I love receiving money. I just love it. And I don't think there's anything wrong with money. And I think sometimes people tie money to worthiness. And so I've just been doing a lot of work around money. So that's what's been going on with me. That's what's going on in my quiet mind behind the scenes when nobody knows what I'm thinking about.
That's good stuff. Good
Thank
stuff.
you.
I love it. I love it.
Thank you.
I've been enjoying that journey with you too.
Yes,
you know what
you
I'm saying?
have.
So our journeys kind of intersect. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. For me, you know, one of the things for me there's been so much going on. We're doing the physical, you know, us hitting the gym, us changing our lifestyle as far as our diet, our money situation, you know, just upgrading everything.
Everything, right?
Everything, yeah. So in the process, one of the challenges that I've found that I've been dealing with is how can I still make time to tap that ass?
Anthony.
Yeah. You gotta get it in.
This is not what we were talking
about. There's
about.
so much going on, and you're gonna be leaving very soon. And so, like, you only stay like 2 weeks a month, like we see each other, then you go your way.
Yes.
And while we're doing all these million things, it's like, we still got to get it in. And
yes,
because
we do.
when we're gone, you're gone. So it's like, okay, how can I balance the gym? How can I balance the new workout? How can I balance the business, the coaching, this and that, but still not wait until it's 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, that's always been an issue with us.
And then it's like, hey, you good?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, but are you good? Yeah, okay, just stop lying to ourselves. We're both tired right now.
Yes.
We want to get it in, but we can't because we're both tired.
Yeah.
All right, tomorrow, yeah. And those days can kind of slip away.
Yeah, it goes by quickly.
Yes, you got to make it a point. Then we're like, okay, tomorrow we'll, get up, we'll go to bed earlier. And don't go to bed earlier. So what we've been doing is that, we've been improvising, and then when we get
going with the flow.
Yeah, we go with the flow. Then when we get an opportunity or make that opportunity, we just got to go hard in the paint.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty much what
since you're bringing this up,
touching on.
Yeah, but I want to say this, and you can tell me if you agree or disagree.
Okay.
I feel like there's just been such quality
to
the lovemaking, even though we've not been able to get the quantity that we want.
Right.
Again, so see, it goes back to gratitude. I'm just grateful for the quality. I would rather have less good, amazing sex than a whole lot of mediocre sex.
Right. But even the amazing that we got in, it was because we had to make it a point to be like, hey, we got to get it in. Otherwise,
that's true.
Yeah. So no, I'm not complaining at all.
Good.
I'm glad
to hear that.
I'm very satisfied. I'm very, but
good.
it's like,
I'm glad to hear that. Me too.
I'm just kind of greedy when it comes to that stuff.
Anyway,
sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, let me just
trying to get it in.
Is this podcast appropriate? Is this what we should be talking about on the podcast?
We are grown adults here, and we have an adult audience, and they want the real talk. They don't want us to just be on a pedestal, acting like we're human. We're like everybody else.
No, it's very true. I think it's important also for people, because people sometimes think we're like perfect, right? To realize that even in a really loving, committed, close, intimate relationship, there are challenges around every topic. And we experience those challenges too. It's just how we handle them.
Exactly.
But I'm just going to focus on the quality, Anthony. The quality has been chef's kiss. Like, I got to give it to you, sir.
I agree.
You are killing the game. When the game gets played, you are killing the game, sir.
We don't get a rain out. It's a rainy day. Game's been rained out tonight. Go home.
Hang in there. Things will get better. I promise.
I'm just keeping it real.
It'll get better.
No, it's getting good. But like I said, I know you're going to be leaving, and so it's like, all right, we good.
Okay, but isn't that the human mind though, right? Like, isn't that the human mind when you know that something is going to be limited? You want it more when it's getting ready to go away. When you have all the time in the world, it's like, well, I'll get to that. Well, I'll get to that. I'll get to that. And then when it's ready to go, you're like, wait, it's psychology. That's why all the marketing is like limited time offer. It's going to go away. Sale for only 2 days. Because the human mind wants what it can't have. So I think this is good for us. It's a good thing. Accept it. Flow with it. Go with it.
Anyways.
What's our topic? Don't be greedy. Don't be. What we doing? Something like that. How can I make a segue out of this?
Cheap or stingy?
Oh, stingy! Don't be stingy.
Stingy.
Okay, maybe we're being being stingy sexually. Okay, maybe that's our segue.
Actually, it's really just
timing.
We just got a lot on our plate.
Yeah, it's true.
No, and I'm with you. I'm grateful to get it in when we can, and it's good quality and great loving. And it's not about quantity; it's about quality.
Yes, I agree.
Exactly.
All right, so let's not be irritating people. What are we talking about today?
You're not being stingy.
I knew it. I knew it.
You set that up.
I know.
Okay, so now back to the podcast.
Right. Let's stop playing with each other and do some work here. Okay, go ahead.
So once again, guys, we're covering from our ebook, our series we've been doing.
Yep.
And the ebook is How to Stop Being an Irritating Person, 20 Irritating Traits That Pushes People Away. And once again, we did this ebook so that people can see themselves, because when you're not getting the results you want in dating and life and relationships, many times it's because either you're doing something that's irritating your partner or the other person, or they're doing something that's irritating you. Yeah. So we can go into the deep dive in the psychology of that stuff, or we could just look at the low-hanging fruit of what you're doing that's irritating, bringing it to your attention, because most of the time the people that are doing the irritating things are the last ones to know it.
Yeah.
So
Can I just add to that? A lot of times your partner may be telling you that you're doing things that are irritating,
Hmm.
but you become defensive, so you don't hear them.
Yeah.
So maybe you could hear it from us
Yeah.
on the podcast
Maybe
today.
a lot of times your people you're going on dates with, they're trying to show you,
Yeah.
or they're giving you little,
Yep.
little signals here and this and that, signs that you're not reading
Mm-hmm.
and you're missing it. Maybe your family members, maybe the people at work,
Yeah.
they've been telling
So,
you, yeah,
or you weren't ready to hear it. So maybe you're ready now, because sometimes we're just not ready to hear things. So
that's right. That's right.
let's get into it,
So now,
sir.
here's a really irritating trait. This one is really good.
Okay.
People that are cheap and stingy, and not just with money. It could be
Okay.
with resources,
Time,
material possessions,
relationships.
relationships.
Yeah.
Right. So let's look at like maybe dating. You're the person that's doing it, or you experienced it, where maybe you go out on a date and the person, let's say, doesn't want to split the bill, or they insist that you split the bill, or maybe they want to take you to a cheap place and you
Right.
feel like this is kind of underneath you, but they don't want to spend the money.
Mm-hmm.
Things like that, or they don't want to spend money at all.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they're always going like, hey, let's go somewhere we're free, where we don't have to spend money on a date. Let's go to the
Right.
park or walk. And that's cool. There's nothing wrong with that. But you may be like, yeah, why don't we go out to eat? Why don't we
Right.
go do something else, spend money? And that happens in relationships as well, where you may have a partner that's so frugal that they never spend money.
Mm-hmm.
And that could be frustrating. Or when they do spend money, they buy the cheap stuff
Right.
all the time, which can be frustrating.
Right.
So what sayeth you, Melanie?
It's annoying when you are trying to have a good time and you're trying to live your best life and someone is being cheap or stingy. But I think this, again, you can hear me say this over and over again as we talk about these chapters. This stuff is programming, right? Cheap people are generally cheap because they grew up in lack or they were
You going
taught.
right to the
Yeah.
you cut to the
So,
chase.
but seriously, that is how I look at it. So I
Mhm.
don't take it too personally, but I think that people don't recognize it's irritating unless you communicate and you tell them that it's irritating. And sometimes people just think it's the right thing to do. So, I have had times in my life, like this is really interesting, something
Mhm.
I've observed about myself. Because I grew up poor and on welfare and didn't
Mhm.
have anything, I was always really frugal.
Mhm.
And I'm the queen of I could find a deal, I could make something
Right.
out of nothing. Like I'm really grateful for those skills from that experience, right?
Mhm.
But one of the things that I noticed when I noticed my cheapness and my stinginess was when my children were growing up
Mhm.
and they wanted things, right? Like I always say, my daughter Nicole always wanted fancy shampoo, right? She wanted the brand name shampoo. And I was like, girl, you getting generic shampoo. It's just soap.
Mhm.
We're saving money. When we had kids, in the house, like every penny counted, right? And I noticed I was much more frugal and unwilling to spend money because I was worried and I was fearful that my kids wouldn't have everything that they needed. But what ended up happening was, this is interesting. I always say my kids are like my money angels, right? Like because of their desire and their unlimited desire and their lack of fear around money, their desire expanded me. It made me find ways to access more resources, to get more money because I wanted to be able to get them
Mhm.
those things, right? Something else that I observed about myself, which was not nice and I was not proud of, is a lot of times when they would ask me for things, I would get angry.
Mhm.
My reaction would be
Right.
anger, right? And then I noticed, like, why am I getting so angry just because they want stuff?
Right.
And the anger was really about being upset at myself, feeling like I wasn't able to get it for them. And
Mhm.
maybe I was doing something wrong or I wasn't good enough. So, again, a lot of times this behavior is wrapped in self esteem and that type of thing. So, I've definitely, had times in my life where I was really cheap and stingy because I was fearful and I didn't know my potential and I didn't know what I talked about in the beginning, right?
Mhm.
What I'm doing now, which is gratitude, focusing on gratitude and really just asking the universe to give me more when I want more instead of, retreating and retracting and becoming stingy and cheap. So that's my story.
Oh, makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah.
You
How
know,
about you?
well, for me, I grew up in a situation with my siblings
Mm-hmm.
where, especially my oldest sister, she was very, very stingy. and very cheap.
Mm-hmm.
So as a kid, I was very giving. It
Right.
was like I used to do extra work around the house and in the building that my grandfather was the landlord of. I would clean the entire building at 7 years old, 8 years old, so I could get a couple of, maybe 50 cents,
Right.
so I could buy somebody a gift.
Right.
Whose birthday was coming up, a sibling, this and that. So I was very giving.
Right.
But then when it came to me, especially my older sister, she was the opposite. When my turn came around, it was like, you get nothing. I remember she used to do this thing where she used to tell us all, like, hey, we'd all get our potato chips and snacks, and as kids, we get excited. And she's like, hey, everybody, let's put everybody's together, and then we'll all share it. And then I'd put all my stuff in there, and they would put a little bit of theirs in there, and then eat all of mine. And then when I'm done with mine, they'd be like, you sucker, you stupid, ha. And they'd have their whole bag still full, and I'd be like, good. So it would, that stinginess, stingy. And she's like that to this day, you know. So that, I'm very sensitive to people that are cheap and stingy. It's a turnoff to me.
Yeah.
It pushes me away, you know.
Yeah.
Or if I go out to dinner with somebody, you're in a group, and then somebody does the, here's the bill, split the bill. And they split the bill right down to the cent. And like, okay, this is my share. And it's like, really? I get it, but to the cent.
Yeah.
Or to be like, you owe me 10 cents, or you owe me 30, $2. I paid.
Right.
So to me, that will definitely affect my relationships with people.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I grew up with a grandfather that was very, very stingy. Just like to get a dime from him, my God, you have to put up with a speech. And he's like, God damn, what's wrong? You got people, you think this money growing trees? It's like, yo, I just asked you for a nickel.
Right.
Come on, son. I just asked you for a nickel. I didn't ask you for, to buy me a car. But it was always a speech that came with it, and just, deep pockets, short arms. And it was just like, So those things, I can definitely see how they can definitely affect people's relationships.
Wow. Okay, I just want to go back. What did you just say? Deep pockets?
Short arms.
I have never heard that before.
Really?
Yeah. Is that like a New York thing or something?
Nah.
Oh, I never heard that before. I got a whole visual on that. Okay,
that's more of a street thing.
Okay. Never heard it before, but all right, makes a lot of sense.
You get it.
Deep pockets, I get it, but it's different.
Little Barney arms.
Yeah, you can't reach what's in your pockets.
Yeah.
I agree with you. The thing about people who are stingy and cheap, here's the thing. It definitely affects relationships. I know people in my life that are stingy and cheap, and I tend not to invite them to things because I just don't want to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? And it's sad because you want to be inclusive and you want to include people, but maybe it's just where I'm at in my life. I'm just willing to spend money on what I'm willing to spend money on.
Right.
Like, I want to enjoy my life experience, and I don't want to deal with someone who's feeling, frugal. It dampens it changes the vibe, right? Like it dampens the experience because you have someone who's in lack and you're trying to feel abundant and enjoying life and be high vibration. And then you have someone who's being really low vibration. And I don't always want to coach when I'm hanging out, right? And it ends up to a coaching session to talk them into it. And I don't always want to do that. So I think it definitely affects relationships. I can't be the only person that's not wanting to invite people who are restrictive and limited in how they're able to show up in an experience,
Right. And especially then there's another type of stingy person where they'll go out and buy themselves all this stuff and spend all this money in this and brag to you about how much money they got, this and that. And then, if you need something, they're like, nah, I can't help you.
Yeah.
I ain't got it because I'm broke now. I can't. It's like, yo, really? Just a minute ago, you were just saying how you getting down like that. Like, now, I ask you, hey, to pay me that money that you owe me. Right. And all of a sudden, it's like, oh, well, I ain't got it. So it's like, all right, lesson learned.
Yeah.
Yeah. So definitely will affect relationships.
Another one that I've seen, not to put anybody on blast, but I've seen this with clients, a lot of women clients. They tend to become stingy with like relationships. Like stingy in relation. Well, that's my friend and I introduced them and they're not supposed to hang out and they're not supposed to be. And it's like, we don't get to control who's attracting who and who spends time with who.
Right.
So feeling like the people in your life, like your friends, there's like ownership around them, right?
Right.
Like there's all these rules of how
Right.
they're supposed to only stick with you. I tend to see it the opposite. Like I love introducing friends to friends. I love when friends hang out with each other. I don't see it like, oh my God, they didn't invite me. How dare them have a good time without me? Like it's all love. Like that's awesome. There's
Yeah.
more love being spread, right? But I've seen people literally be stingy, like, oh, I'm not gonna introduce them because I don't want them to hang out without me. It's like, what?
That's an interesting point because
What? Why?
Because, like I said earlier, that goes along with it, that it's not always about money.
Yeah.
It's not always about resource. It could be with things like affection.
Yeah.
You know, I know people that are stingy with
that's
affection.
True.
Right.
Yes.
And they're just like, no.
Yeah.
And then you just got to fight them for it.
Yeah.
Or, you
Give me
know,
a hug.
every blue and moon, they'll give you some affection or kudos, you know, or appreciation.
Yes. Stingy with appreciation is the worst. You know, when somebody's stingy with appreciation, you don't want to share with them.
No.
You don't want to share what's going on because you already know they're not going to react. They're going to act like they don't see it. And it could feel hurtful. It feels like you're not cheering for me.
Right.
Right? Like we want people in our lives that are in our corner and are cheering for us. And I find that a lot of times people can just be so guarded, right? Like no one wants to be vulnerable and put themselves out there. And part of vulnerability is appreciation, right? And cheering for people and saying, I'm proud of you and I'm excited for you and good for you. But people tend to sometimes be stingy with that because they project it onto themselves, right? Well, I'm not there, or those good things aren't happening for me, so I don't want to acknowledge it in you. And it's the exact opposite. The more you acknowledge greatness in others, the more you're going to attract it for yourself. So don't be stingy with your gratitude and appreciation.
I agree. So now let's look at why it's irritating, because we kind of touched on it, but here's some overall perspectives that most people have.
Okay.
Being stingy makes people, it feels selfish.
Yeah.
Others may feel like their time, effort, or comfort isn't valued. Something else, it creates imbalance. Relationships thrive off of reciprocity, and stinginess disrupts that balance. The last one I want to share is it's embarrassing. Cheap behavior is a social setting. In a social setting, is awkward and uncomfortable for people.
Yeah.
And so those are kind of the things that we discuss, how it affects us.
100%.
Yeah. So once again, guys, if you might be the person that is cheap, stingy, then this isn't to make you feel bad about yourself. This is just something to look at and go, you know, if I'm doing that, and if I want to be the best me possible, even though it's not comfortable, it doesn't feel good. If I can't change it until I admit it.
Yeah.
And then once I admit it, then I can start moving towards changing it and having better relationships.
Yeah, I agree. I just want to share really quickly. I had a conversation around this the other day with a client. And it's not always necessarily people who don't have enough who are stingy. Sometimes really wealthy people are stingy. Of course, yeah. And this person's really wealthy and was saying to me that she feels like she's always looking out for everybody and that she tends to attract people who are not on her level. And I had to tell her, like, there's no levels. We're all human, right? And by telling yourself that you're on a better level than someone, you're creating a superiority thing and you're attracting people so you can feel superior. Yeah. But the people around you that you're gifting and giving to because you have more, they're actually enhancing you. You're enhancing them and they're enhancing you. Like it's always this beautiful dance of the universe. And so it's all perspective. A lot of times stinginess is just a way for people to feel better than other people and to feel self-protective, like I'm on a different level. And I just want to say, like, we're all human. We're all spirits. It's not levels. It's just different life experiences. And the more we help each other and the more we love each other and the more we look out for each other, the better we all get. So stop being stingy, y'all, whether you got it or not.
All right. I love you, baby, but you are just jumping all over the place. You are giving them the solutions. You're giving them
That's because I'm not stingy.
I'm trying to follow the script, and you just got me like...
Because I'm not going to be stingy with the love, Anthony.
Follow the script. Follow the game. You could do it. Trust me. Great stuff, but you're just ahead of me.
Well, when I flow, so you go with me.
Well, adding to what you were saying, we were to the point where Why do people act stingy and cheap?
Yes.
Fear of scarcity,
Mm-hmm.
worrying about running out of resources,
Yep.
even when it's unlikely.
Yeah.
Control issues,
Okay.
using money or resources as a way to maintain control relationships or situations. Insecurity,
Okay.
believing that generosity might lead to you being vulnerable, taken advantage of, or learned behavior.
All true.
Yeah, you grew up with that environment.
Yeah.
So just to cover what you already covered.
But you said it different. Like
Right.
that's more factual. I'm talking about an experience that I had with an actual person. And sometimes I think people need to understand like how it will play out in your life. You know what I mean? When you read the facts, sometimes people can't see how it applies to them. So
No,
I'm sorry, I'll follow your script. What's
no,
next,
no,
Anthony?
I'm not mad at you, boo boo.
That's good. I'm glad to
I'm
hear.
not mad at you.
So what's next?
Well, now that we covered, the issue,
Mm-hmm. You gonna
gave
give them
people
some
some
tips?
understanding, even as understanding as far as why they do it.
Okay.
Now let's look at how they could fix it.
Okay.
So one of the quickest ways they can do it
Mm-hmm.
is through self-awareness. It requires self-awareness and empathy.
Right.
And willingness to prioritize relationships over money and resources. That's a big one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because once you start going, I value the relationship more than the money,
Mm-hmm.
the resource or that thing,
Yeah.
then things start to fall into priority.
Then perspective shifts.
Right. Because you don't think first, oh, my money or that stuff. It's like, oh, I care about this person. I want to see this person. I want to express my love for them. I want to express my appreciation for them, my gratitude.
Yeah.
And, I think there was a time when, after my experiences through childhood, they kind of tainted me. And sometimes when you get hurt like that, it can go one of two ways. You can go, I'm not going to be like that at all. Or you feel like, damn it, because it happened to me, I'm going to do that to other people.
Yeah, that's true.
And so I started to fall for a while into a trap of that. Like, I don't want to be taken advantage of. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
So I'm going to pull back from people. But then I didn't like the way that felt. That wasn't me.
Yeah.
And so I had to make it a point to go, you know what, don't be like that. Just because they're like that. It's like they say when you're trying to kill a monster, the biggest challenge is not to become a monster.
Yeah.
So it was like, that was my challenge. So I will say being around you definitely helped because you're a very giving person. You're a very generous person.
Oh, thank you.
And so sometimes it's like, oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, no,
Why is
that's
she
how it
giving
should
that
be.
away?
Why is she
saying
giving
yes
so
to
much of
that?
Yeah.
Why is she doing that?
Yeah, so it's just a reminder for me.
Right.
So yeah.
Well, thank you for that.
So I'm grateful.
What I've noticed, because I notice this a lot in coaching, and this is something we help people with when we're coaching them, right? Like people can't always see this for themselves, is that they don't realize that a lot of this behavior does not hurt other people, it hurts them.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like this client was actually hurting and struggling and having anxiety because of her perspective, but the perspective seemed like it was negative against the people in her life.
Mm-hmm.
So the exercise that I gave her was like, okay, so let's imagine removing all those people that you feel are taking advantage of you. Let's remove them all from your life.
Mm-hmm.
And you just get to keep all the money and all the stuff to yourself. Like, how good is your life right now?
Right.
Wasn't very good. She had already experienced that.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And she felt alone and she felt like the money had no meaning. So sometimes we're hurting ourselves with our stinginess and with being cheap.
Yeah.
You're not actually saving yourself. You're not actually protecting yourself. You're actually hurting yourself by doing that. So
very true. Very true. And another thing you can do is just let's say even whether it's money or time or affection,
we're friends.
Start small.
Yeah.
If it's like, let's say going out to dinner, instead of going, okay, I'm going to treat everybody, go, hey, I'll buy coffee.
Yeah.
I'll buy the after dinner coffee.
I'll buy the first round.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it's affection you're being stingy with, you don't have to overcommit. Just do the simple pat on the back.
Yeah.
A back rub,
a greeting hug or an exit hug or kiss. Yes.
Right. So no matter what it is,
baby steps.
Start off with baby steps.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah. So guys, to learn more and to get even deeper, get the copy of the ebook. It goes more into it. But on the podcast, we can only cover but so much. But one thing I do like to add with that too is that going back to a spiritual perspective, that this is universal reciprocity.
Yes, it is.
And so to partake in prosperity, you have to add to prosperity.
Yes.
And when you give, whatever you put out, you get back.
Mm-hmm.
And I also noticed that the people that are stingy and cheap, they have a hard time getting stuff coming back to them
Yes.
as well, because they're not in the flow of it.
Yeah.
And so,
I would like to say this. I like to think of the universe like a bank. You can't just make withdrawals. You have
mhm,
to deposit also. You have
mhm,
to deposit good things into the universe to get good things out of the universe. And this applies to every aspect of your life. So it's the golden rule, right?
mhm,
Like, do unto others how you want them to do unto you, right? Like, so if you find yourself feeling irritated, anxious, upset that you don't want to give,
right.
then think about like how you would want to be treated in those
Yeah.
moments, how you would want someone to treat you in that
Because
situation.
it's really all connected. It's just as important to give as it is to receive.
Yes.
So you don't want to be stuck in one. You want to do both. Give,
Yes.
receive, give, receive, give,
Yeah.
receive, and get into the flow.
Exactly. So,
Good, good
hope you guys
stuff.
got something out of that. I want to thank you all for hanging out with us. We love and appreciate you guys so much.
That's right, guys. We love and appreciate you all.
Yes.
And guys, if you haven't got a chance yet to get a copy of our book, Crack the Code, Secrets to Achieving Your Happily Ever After, make sure you pick up your copy today, available at Amazon.com. And if you're interested in becoming a life coach or just want to learn some skills to life coach yourself or the people around you, then check out our life coach training and certification course at Law of Attraction lifecoachacademy.com. And last but not least, if you guys are interested in coaching with the amazing Clarks, you can coach with us via Zoom or by phone, no matter where you live around the globe. And you may even be able to coach with us in the LA area, in the Charlotte, North Carolina area as well. But to learn more, reach out to us at theamazingclarks.com.
And make sure you're connecting with us over Instagram, TikTok, YouTube at The Amazing Clarks. And remember, to go there, you got to grow there.
So there you go, people. We gave it to you. Now, what you going to do with it?
Love the Amazing Clarks.
See you next time.
See you next time.